In the heart of Lagos stood Maxwell Holdings, a thriving company known for its reputation and its secrets. Among the bustling workers, where voices echoed through glass corridors and heels clicked on polished floors, was a man everyone knew, yet no one truly saw. His name was Mr. Adams, the janitor. He was quiet, calm, always polite. Every morning before the managers even arrived, he would be there, broom in hand, humming softly as he wiped the floors that others stepped on with pride. To most, he was invisible. To some, a man to mock or order around, but behind those calm eyes lay something no one could imagine. At the front desk sat Clara, a young receptionist. She was known for her humility and kindness, even though the office could be cruel. The assistant manager, Mr. Tony, was one of those who made her days uneasy. A man who misused power like a toy, charming to the bosses but ruthless to those beneath him. One morning, Clara walked into the office with tired eyes but her usual smile. Tony leaned on the counter, staring too long, his voice dripping with arrogance. He told Clara that there were easier ways to get promoted, that she just had to cooperate. Clara looked him in the eyes and replied firmly that she came there to work, not to play. Tony smirked, warning her that she would regret ignoring him. She turned away, her heart pounding, not out of fear, but out of anger. Mr. Adams, who was cleaning nearby, watched silently. He had seen this scene too many times, not just in this office, but in other corners of life, where power crushes innocence. Later that day, he approached her gently, telling her not to let people like that make her doubt her worth. Someday, everyone would see who was truly valuable. Clara smiled faintly, thanking him though she didn't fully understand his meaning. He only smiled and returned to his mop, leaving her curiosity burning. Meanwhile, the general manager, Mrs. Victoria, was in her office. Elegant, cunning, feared by many. She and Mr. Tony shared more than just business interests. Behind closed doors, their partnership extended beyond paperwork, and together they drained the company of its resources, approving fake expenses and inflating costs. Most employees stayed silent, afraid to speak up. Mr. Adams observed it all quietly, taking note of every detail, but he did not confront anyone yet. It was a Friday morning when the breaking point came. Clara was at the front desk when Tony stormed out of his office, angry. He accused her of bypassing his approval and shouted, slamming his hand on the counter. The office watched silently, afraid to intervene. That's when Mr. Adams stepped forward. He told Tony that he should be careful how he treated people, because one day the person he despised might be the one cleaning his mess. Tony's face twisted in rage, and before anyone could react, he slapped Mr. Adams hard across the face. The office froze. But Mr. Adams didn't retaliate. He only looked straight into Tony's eyes, calm and unsettlingly confident. Then he reached for his phone, dialed a number, and spoke softly. He requested that Mr. Tony be suspended for 1 month, effective immediately. Gasps filled the room. Tony laughed bitterly, mocking the janitor, saying it was impossible. But within minutes, his phone buzzed. A message from the board appeared. He was suspended. His laughter vanished, replaced with shock and fear. He stormed into Mrs. Victoria's office, demanding she reverse it. She told him it was impossible, that the board had issued the order, and whoever made that call had serious authority. That evening, Clara approached Mr. Adams quietly. She asked how he had done it, who he really was. He smiled faintly and told her that sometimes doing the right thing doesn't need a title, and that one day she would understand. From that day, she often brought him lunch, claiming she didn't want him spending his little janitor salary. He always smiled softly, telling her she didn't have to, though he appreciated every gesture. Over time, their bond grew, quiet, unspoken, but deeply human. Weeks later, an emergency meeting was announced, and all staff gathered in the conference hall. The board management had arrived to make a critical announcement. Everyone whispered, wondering what was happening. Mr. Adams stood quietly at the back, still in his janitor uniform. Tony, now reinstated, whispered mockingly to Mrs. Victoria about the janitor's presence. The board management secretary stepped to the podium and addressed the room. He spoke of honoring integrity, discipline, and true leadership, and mentioned someone who had quietly walked the halls unseen, yet had done more for the company than many realized. Murmurs spread through the room as he revealed the man's name. Mr. Adams Maxwell, the chief executive officer of Maxwell Holdings. The hall fell silent. Every jaw dropped. Mrs. Victoria's glass slipped from her hand. Mr. Tony's legs weakened. Mr. Adams stepped forward, calm and composed, removing his cap. He told everyone that he had disguised himself as a janitor to see what the company had truly become, witnessing greed, disrespect, and abuse, but also honesty and kindness, especially in one person. He looked toward Clara and said that she had stood for what was right, even when no one was watching. The board dismissed Linda and Tony immediately, exposing their misdeeds. Clara was promoted to executive assistant to the CEO. Months passed and the company began to heal. Staff morale rose, corruption ended, and respect returned. At the grand end-of-year dinner, music and laughter filled the hall. Mr. Adams stood to give his closing speech. He told the crowd that sometimes, to see who truly stands tall, you must walk among your people. He looked toward Clara, softly saying that she had stood tall when others bowed to corruption, and reminded him of integrity. Then, to everyone's surprise, he took a small velvet box from his pocket, knelt on one knee, and asked Clara if she would marry him. Her eyes filled with tears, and she whispered yes. Applause erupted throughout the hall, and in that moment, every struggle, every humiliation, every challenge became something beautiful. If you love this story, please like and click subscribe button to help me reach my goal. Your support means everything to me.